Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gabe Gutierrez and I am the founder of Gutierrez Consulting Group. It's a firm that I started to help small businesses understand their business, um, reduce costs, drive revenue, and make better and informed decisions nonetheless. Today is this is a part of a series that I'm starting where I will be discussing different business topics that would help you understand your own business, how to make pricing decisions, how to track inventory, cash flows. So it's a combination of both business strategy, accounting, and operations as a whole. The topic that I want to get into today goes by the name of CVP, which stands for Cost, Volume, Profit Analysis. When you take an accounting class, this is one of the key topics that is discussed because this is what is going to help you understand your products and how to make those pricing decisions and really understand what your break even point is, which, as many of us entrepreneurs understand, it's the most important metric is when do I actually start generating profits. So, with this topic, I will keep it very simple. Obviously, it's not as easy as it looks because once you start applying this analysis to your product, to your services, we don't just offer one service or one product. Things can get a bit complex. If you're a contractor, you might get a project that you had to bid on, or you might get a project that has a lot of different modifications that require more labor, more manpower. If you're a restaurant, you're not just selling one item, you're selling a lot of different items. If you're a trucker, depending on the route, tolls, etc. So there's a lot of moving pieces. Where I can help is run this analysis with your business specifically and really help you understand um, this analysis so you can make better informed decisions. But for now, we'll keep it high level, um, and I will basically show you how many sales you need to make money in your business. We're not guessing here. We're not hoping here. We're actually understanding and knowing how much it's going to take for us to become profitable. So, a CVP, as you see it here, it's a simple framework, and it's composed of a couple different things. So, I'll start with this. We as a business, we always have fixed costs. And this is important to understand. What I mean by fixed costs, these are costs that really are pretty standard across month to month. So things such as your rent, uh, payroll expense, ingredients, depending on the volume that you buy. Typically, you most likely buy an average amount of ingredients, etc. So these fixed costs are costs that don't move. They stand still. You need to cover these month to month. If you have utilities, you kind of take that average, right? And that way you understand what your true fixed costs are. So those are costs that never move. They are there on a month to month basis. Now we have your variable costs. These are the costs that are adjacent to your inventory, to the sales that you make. So if you sell more, let's say, burgers, your variable costs go up because, to make a burger, it costs money. So, and I'll break it down, but variable costs are those costs as you provide more services, you run more routes, you sell more items, those variable costs will go up. They're adjacent to your the inventory that you sold or the services that you provided. Um, the other component of this is that we have your total cost as well. Okay, this is basically summing up everything. As entrepreneurs, we typically tend to focus on revenue minus total cost to really understand how profitable we are. Sure, that's important, but it doesn't really paint the full picture. In order to really understand your business and really understand if you're profitable or not, is by breaking down your CVP, whether it's by item, by dish, what's underperforming, what's performing well, where are our biggest margins, what do we want to push out. If you're a contractor, same thing. Are we losing money on government jobs? Are we making more on those government jobs? everything really has a cost, and with CVP you can really, it helps you understand your margins a bit better. So, and then we have total revenue. How much revenue did your business generate? Again, another number that we tend to focus on, but it still doesn't paint the full picture, because how much of that revenue, how much did you actually keep? How much did it cost you to get that revenue? So that's something that's really important. Now, as you can see, the axes here, we have units sold. So this is the amount of units that you sell or service that you provide. And then you have your sales, the amount of sales. So what this graphic is basically describing, right here, this dot right there, that is what is considered to be your break even point. Meaning, if you don't reach past this point, okay, in terms of total revenue combined with total costs, variable costs, fixed costs, because they all intersect at this point, as you can see, everything that you make past that break even point becomes a profit. Okay? Variable costs are still going to be there because it costs you money to provide that service, etc. But you need to, in order to be profitable, the number that you need to surpass to cover is your fixed cost. Okay, and that's extremely important. That's the whole idea behind CVP, is how much of that contribution margin do we need to cover the fixed cost. After that, everything becomes profit. Now, on the other side of that is, if you don't reach and you don't cover those fixed costs with your contribution margin, everything else becomes a loss. Anything under that break-even point becomes a loss. So, again, I'll reiterate. Fixed costs, they don't move. It's this line. Variable costs go up as you provide more revenue, more as sales goes up, variable cost goes up. As units sold goes up, variable cost goes up. Fixed costs, as you can see, it's a pretty permanent line. That's what dictates how much you need to cover on a month-to-month basis to consider yourself profitable. So for this example, I'm using a very easy, very simple, high-level example of a burger. So let's pretend that you own a burger restaurant. And this is how it works. So let's say that your business sells burgers at $10 a piece. Okay, that's how much your burgers are sold to the public, to your customers. Your variable cost, how much does it cost us to make the burger? Let's say it's $6. The buns, the cheese, the lettuce, it costs me $6 to make the burger. So that's my understanding, is for every burger that I sold, I keep $4. A lot of entrepreneurs really don't understand this, but they immediately think, okay, $4, that's my profit, that's my margin. I'm making $4 a burger. So if I sell 20 burgers, I make 40 times 20. And that's incorrect. Because again, you need to understand, you have to get to your breaking point first before you're actually profitable. So the way the CVP analysis works is pretty simple, and I'll give you a quick example. Let's say at your restaurant, your fixed cost, and I'll do FC for fixed cost, is about $2,000. Okay? $2,000 is what you pay on payroll, utilities, etc. On average. What CVP tells us is that for you to cover the $2,000 fixed costs, is you're not taking $10 for every sale you make to cover the $2,000. Okay? We're not saying, hey, I gotta sell $2,000 at $10 a piece and that covers my fixed costs. That's incorrect, because we have our variable costs, right? We're spending money to make money, in other words. So what the analysis tells us is that you divide your fixed cost divided by your contribution margin. So at $2,000 of fixed costs, and these are dollars, divided by $4 of your contribution margin, gives you the units that you are required to sell, which in this case would be 500. So This is not a dollar amount, this is units. So in order to reach $2,000 in fixed costs at my contribution margin, I need to sell 500 burgers to break even. So my break even point is 500 burgers. Okay? Call them units. Okay? So 500 units. Now, we as entrepreneurs tend to say, okay, that means $2,000 at $4. No. When you look at your sales numbers, and this is where things start getting a bit tricky, in reality, the way you should look at it is I have to generate in sales, since I'm selling 500 units of burgers, it's 500 times 10. That's the number in sales that you need to generate in order to get your break even, which in this case would be $5,000. So for you to break even, you need to sell. Sometimes there's discounts involved. Sometimes there's buy one get one. There's promotion. In order for you to break even, you need to generate $5,000 in burger sales at $10 a piece, and that's the number that we need to really understand where it's coming from, because it's not all about total cost and total revenue. It's you break it down per burger, per job, per dish. But hopefully this makes it a bit more simple. Now, let's take another piece of this and add one more thing. And let's say I'm a restaurant owner and I have a goal of paying myself $10,000 a month. I work hard, I deserve it. As an entrepreneur, you want to make a good amount of money. So I want to keep $10,000 a month in profit besides my fixed cost. The formula is simple. You simply estimate whatever you want to earn. Let's say in this case, it's a monthly revenue or a monthly profit of 10,000. Okay, that's what we want to earn. Plus $2,000 of our fixed cost. Okay, we understand that for this we require 500 burgers. Okay, because we're dividing it by 4. Now, if we want to make $10,000, what do? It's 10,000, obviously, divided by the same $4, which is your contribution margin, which gives you 2,500 units plus the 500 units that we already accounted for because we're dividing this by 4, which gives you a total of 3,000 units at $10 a piece. Simple math. So 3,000 burgers at $10 a piece gives you $30,000 in burger sales. Okay. As you may see, a lot of you are business owners. This number is not easy to get to, especially in the restaurant business. But it really helps you understand, hey, am I pricing my items correctly? Do I need to revisit other marketing strategies? Do I need to maybe decrease the variable cost and increase my contribution margin? Maybe do I need to increase the price or decrease it? CVP helps us make those informed decisions because $30,000 in burgers is not easy for any restaurant out there, especially non-chain, traditional small businesses. So if you have a target of earning X, you need to first take a look at what your service is, what are you selling, and make sure that you are pricing correctly. Make sure that your contribution margins make sense. Maybe you are paying too much for certain ingredients and you need to revisit your vendor contract. Maybe you can find a better deal elsewhere. But without this, we can really make decisions. And that's what's important for us to, as entrepreneurs, to truly understand. So, with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. I'll be posting more of these in the next few coming weeks. If you have any questions, feel free to just comment down below. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram. Feel free to follow me there. Y si hablas español, también hago estas lecciones en español. So thank you so much for joining, and like I said, best of luck to all the entrepreneurs out there, and hope this helps even a little bit. Thank you. Have a great day.